going on, chat? How you guys doing? Whew, Chris Carter, what's going on, brother? How's the weekend?
It's good for a Sunday, man. It's good. Good for a Sunday. Been a busy Sunday. We're getting ready to release something. So
Really?
it's exciting. It's funny. It's a small world because I want you in my next thing, and my guest who we're gonna be talking about I'm gonna have him on my next thing. It's gonna be great, man. It's gonna be great.
Awesome.
How was your Sunday? Did you guys game last night at all? I got 7 wins in Warzone. That's not a lie or exaggeration. We got 7 wins on Rebirth.
Okay, I was gonna say on Warzone. I'm gonna lie. I haven't looked at your stats in a while, but I'm gonna say that's a lie. I'm gonna call it out right now. But regardless, I am super excited for today's either episode or one of 3 parts. We'll figure this out in just a minute, and we'll see how it goes. All right, what's up, chat? Welcome to episode 4 of ReelChat with myself, NAT3MILL, and Chris Carter. Today we're going to be talking about Marvel versus DC. Which one's your favorite and why? And going over everything. So let's see. I mean, we're going to be talking about movies. We're going to be talking about TV shows. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. I'm excited. Let's see who's in the chat. Nobody yet. Good start. Okay.
I got a couple invites out. My guys, it's WrestleMania today, so
okay.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. So I got a couple people doing some double screen TVs on this one. They're just catching up. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Give you guys a little bit about me. You guys don't know me. My name is Nathan. I go by NAT3MILL. I've been acting in movies and stuff like that for a really long time. My first feature film was actually acting in Chris's feature directorial debut.
Boom.
Overwatch a long time ago. We've been on each other for quite some time.
That's true. We've only got more handsome, so it's good. We've gotten much more handsome since then.
Oh, man. Speak for yourself. But I'm excited. I've been a huge comic book fan for the longest time before there were movies. I've loved the animated shows, live action shows, and now movies as well too. Everybody pits the movies against each other more so than anything else, I feel like. But we're gonna get into it today and find out what's going on. Chris, tell us a little about yourself real quick here.
You know, thank you for the wonderful segue. I mean, I kind of got into to directing and filming right a little before I met Nate, and you know, I'm living in LA right now. We've already got 1 film out on Amazon. I'll say that we've got distribution for 1, and I don't want to spoilers for anything else, but we should have some stuff cooking up. But no, I'm excited to get into it because I think that there are some, you know, when it comes to movies, like the Snyder Cut proved, people, you can't deny the numbers, and I think there are numbers here that support. This isn't a this or that type of thing. However, I think the numbers will support one of these cinematic universes much more heavily than the other.
Okay.
So, well, but you know, I don't want to pick a fight too. Right, we're just getting warmed up. This is the undercard.
Oh man, he's already making me want to take the gloves off. Okay. I love it. All right, man. This is one of the things I love about Twitch streaming as well too, because you know, having a podcast on Twitch and on YouTube like this, it's just more fun. You connect a lot of people, and you just get everybody's opinion. You know, in a safe, healthy environment that's, you know, fun to debate and also discuss new stuff and maybe some stuff you don't even know about. So that's what this whole thing's about.
Yes.
Let's jump into it, and we're going to be bringing on some guests here today, chat, to talk as well too. If you guys want to be a guest, if you're in the chat, hey, throw your hands up, say hi to us. We'd love to have your guys' opinion in as well too. Will, everybody else, it's gonna be fun. So let's get into it. DC versus Marvel. Movies, comics, TV, both animated and live action on both sides. It's been awesome. I think just seeing something that people used to make fun of when I was a kid. Now everybody, it's a household name. Everybody knows who Captain America is. Everybody's known Batman for years. You know, it's just amazing to see this kind of platform and this kind of like fan base, I should say, being elevated to where it is now. Everybody is in households. It's not just in comics. You know, it's not just the nerds running around with it. You know. Yeah.
No, that's wonderful, dude. Like it gives creatives like the past to be cool. Like it's cool to be creative now. It's cool to read comic books. I remember you've seen 21 Jump Street, the remake, right, with Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum.
My name is Jeff. What?
That's the sequel, but yeah. So we're on the same. So we're on the same page. So there's a point when he's like, when Jonah Hill's like, man, reading comic books is cool now. Like it's so great that
Yeah.
it's okay to do that. You know, like one of our good buddies, Eric, who is also in Overwatch. I mean, he goes to comic book stores weekly and goes in there and purchases them, and I think that's so cool. Like, yeah, you nailed it. You know, now we can talk about it. It's cool to have that creative outlet. You know, you're not stigmatized for being a nerd for reading comic books. I mean, shit.
Right.
You know, the highest grossing films in the top 10 are all are 5 out of the top 10 are comic book movies. Go figure.
Right.
You know, it's people enjoy it, man. People enjoy it, and I'm glad. Yeah.
So who's gonna be our first guest? I don't see anybody messaging anything in the chat yet. So.
All right. So I've got Andrew Kincaid, who actually was also on Overwatch, if you can believe that. I've got him in our Discord chat. I believe I'm new to Discord. I'm the only person on the planet that didn't know about Discord, apparently. So let me see if I can bring him in here.
Well, have him chat in first. Have him chat in on Twitch first. That's how we're gonna do it. That's how we're gonna do it. When we start growing a fan base, I want to be able to open it up to everybody. But it's good to have friends and colleagues that we can bring in and chat as well too. So.
All right.
Yeah.
So I will text him to do that, and then. Okay. Cool. Text him. All right. So do you want to talk about something while I do that?
Yeah. Let's go into it. Let's get into it. What do you want to start with? Honestly. Do you want to start with the Trinity characters? Do you want to start with movies? I say we start breaking it down with the characters first before we get into everything else.
Sure. No, go ahead.
All right. So everybody knows there's a Trinity list in all superheroes. Okay. There's always the top 3. On Marvel's side, Chris, what would be the Marvel side?
I mean, to me, and again, this is from the cinematic part of it, because the cinematic part of it has really created the brand of these characters. And everybody knew about Iron Man, maybe who read the comics, but now everybody who just doesn't read comics knows about Iron Man. There's a shift that happened when the MCU was created. So to answer your question, the Trinity, which it's going to be hard to boil them down to at the MCU, in my opinion, would have to be Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. Some people.
I was going to say the last movie kind of made it easy for you, bro. They're the ones that went up against Thanos.
Well, true. Except there's a whole bunch of different paradigms to pull from, because now one of those 3 aren't going to be in the Trinity anymore. So it's hard to say,
right.
That.
So specifically speaking, just as the core heroes as they are across all franchise realms, TV and stuff like that too. So Marvel, we got Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor, right?
Yes. And how is it for DC?
DC, I would automatically say, very easily said, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. That's the Trinity.
Really?
Yep, that's the main 3 right there. In movies, comics, and animation.
A lot of people would say Green Lantern would make that Trinity. You're saying no?
See, no, not Green Lantern. Green Lantern's great. He's got the Lantern Corps and stuff like that too as well, which is great. But he's not one of the main 3 Trinity. Okay. So if you look at if you type in DC Trinity, you pull it up. Marvel Trinity. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of speculation. I'm waiting for them to see it. Check in. What's up, Patrick? Welcome to the chat, brother. Patrick, in the Twitch chat, who is the top 3 Trinity for Marvel and DC on your end? What would you say? 2 out of 3 of those aren't available. Stark is dead and Cap is gone. Sure, my name is Jeff. Patrick. No, I was not just the movies. I'm thinking about the Trinity characters, right? I'm thinking about the OG ones that have been there from the start, or from the ones that are the most known. I would say the powerhouses, the ones that kind of lead teams, or on the big side. I would say. I just dropped. Oh shoot! I just dropped something. Hold on.
Well, don't break it. Yeah, no. So Patrick, who do you think that on the Marvel side and the DC side are maybe your top 3?
Yeah, hold it down, Chris. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Hold it.
I got you. No worries. Yeah. So Patrick, tell me what you think about that. Rachel, I totally agree. Rachel in the chat is saying that it's difficult to make that available going forward for the MCU because Tony or Iron Man and Cap are both gone. So going forward, I think the MCU definitely has a shift to see who that Trinity is going to be. And right now, they're trying to make, Thor is actually really excited about, Chris Hemsworth is excited about playing Thor for the next 10 years, he said. We'll have to see that. I guess Mark Ruffalo's out of playing Hulk for a little bit. But Black Widow apparently is dying in well, spoiler alert, she's already dead.
Oh no.
But she's going to be gone going forward. So yeah, the Marvel reshuffling of who the top 3 are going to be is going to be very interesting over the next 5 or 6 years. And let's not forget too that Marvel had the foresight to create this cinematic universe over the span of 3 or 4 years, giving these characters individual films and then kind of wrangling them together. But yeah, it will definitely be interesting to see how Marvel does that going forward. DC, on the other hand, DC's core, characters like I'm sure Nate beat you over the head with, are still around and will forever be around. And then there's 18 different iterations of them now. But yeah. So there's that.
I'm just really excited to see where these franchises go, because it's kind of almost like a clean slate for them. It has the potential, to be a clean slate for both of them.
Big time, and that's kind of daunting too, right? Because think about the like pull that Robert Downey Jr. has, that Chris Evans has, not just as a character but as an actor. You go to the movies to see them, so it's a big deal now. If we're starting all over, do we have the same interest in following Doctor Strange that we did Iron Man for, or for Captain America? Or are we going to follow, Patriot, like we're talking about how on the Falcon and Winter Soldier series, they might be setting up Patriot to be in that one. You know what I mean? So there is a reshuffling of the trinity of characters for Marvel for sure. Where do you think DC goes from there?
Before I jump my hat in there real quick, because I want to. Patrick says Marvel for me is Black Widow, Iron Man, and Thor as his trinity. For DC, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. Wow, you left out Superman altogether. Oh wow. Okay, interesting. I did not see that happening. Usually people put Superman at the front. Interesting. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, that's
I see.
He's not in there.
I know. That's it. That's interesting. Okay.
Patrick, why do you exclude Superman? I'm curious on why you wouldn't have Superman in there, because he's kind of, I don't know, he's kind of the flag carrier along with Batman. I mean, if that's a trinity, if we're talking about the 2-0 trademark, we're talking Superman and Batman of DC. So I'm just curious on why you would leave out Superman. Just wondering. And Aquaman.
Yeah, I mean, Aquaman's great. He's pretty great. I love Jason Momoa. I thought he was a great addition. I think it was a good change of pace for DC to not hire somebody that's blonde and white as like the comics or even the action figures were said. Hey, Rob, look at you. We're running our opinions on the Holy Trinity for both DC and Marvel. Yes, Rob, we're starting there. We're starting with characters, not necessarily actors or movies. We're actually starting with the core characters from what you know about these characters. Like, who do you would consider as the top trinities for either side? All right. So basically, where I see. Okay. So here's what's up in the air about DC, in my opinion. All right. The cool thing about DC is they could start over and do it. I wouldn't say right, because I still love Zack Snyder's universe. They could do it on parallel what everybody wants them to do. Right. They want to see a universe like what the MCU is.
Yeah.
Right? I think they have the chance of doing that. Now the interesting thing is we have a couple lingering characters in movies that were great. Shazam. Because they're doing Black Adam.
Black Adam, yeah.
They're doing that. And they've got Pierce Brosnan showing up as Dr. Fate. I cannot wait to see that. That's going to be freaking amazing. We've got the Flash movie coming up. So if they do the Flash movie right, where they can expand the universe, then we can get another DC universe on par with what I think Marvel has with their powerhouse and their films on TV.
Yeah. It's just rough to start over, because think about the money that they've invested into the initial one. I mean, it's basically like saying, so if we follow that train of thought, does that mean that we keep Henry Cavill as Superman?
I would 100% keep Henry Cavill as Superman, because I love him as Superman. I thought that the Superman that he portrayed was full of depth. He wasn't just stoic as Superman. He had emotions a little bit more than we've seen in other Superman. I mean, Brandon Routh was great, but I didn't feel like he did a very good Superman. In my opinion, I think he tried paying too much respect to, rest in peace, Christopher Reeves.
Christopher Reeve, yeah. Even
I don't think
have a striking resemblance.
They really do. They look very similar. I don't think that he made it his own. I don't either that's his choice or the studio's choice. I don't know which one. Rob says DC, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Yep, I agree with you there, 100%. Marvel, I don't have a go-to 3. I have my list of favorites. Okay, I respect that.
And see, that's a great point. Rob makes a wonderful point, because there's so many people gravitate towards so many of the Marvel characters. It's hard to pick one. It's hard to pick 3.
Right.
Even with their cast they have. A lot of people say Hawkeye. People love Hawkeye's story. and Hawkeye was brand new to me, and but I do think I want to go back to your let's say DCEU, like the revamping of it. I like Cavill Superman. I think that he's not bad at it. But does that mean that you scrap Man of Steel? Because if you start over with the new like cinematic universe, does that mean everything that comes before, let's just say Flashpoint or probably Shazam?
See, they could do a Flashpoint. That's what I'm saying. I think what they've said, and they've come out. Warner Brothers needs to get their act together. They made a release saying that DCEU is one of the. It's like Earth Prime or Earth 2 DC. No, it's not Prime. It's Earth 2. It's like its own universe, which is great because there is a multiverse, just like what they're going to expand with Doctor Strange on Marvel. So, cool. Keep that in canon, meaning those characters can still show up sometime later, which hopefully we might have Michael Keaton showing up as Batman, and we might get a Batman Beyond movie. That would be cool. I would love to see that. Ezra Miller, boo. Rob, don't hate on Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller did a great job in the last movie. He channeled my boy David Harris.
Except we'll see if he's still around because he's kind of on a career like the same path that Shia LaBeouf was on before he got crazy and started fucking stuff up.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield did the same thing for your Spider-Man, so let's talk about that.
I will say this. I liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I really
did. So here's the problem. Here's the problem with Andrew Garfield. I feel like I'm sorry. I don't need to jump over.
That's fine. Go for it.
He was in, I think, Japan or something like that. What's up, AJ? Thanks for the follow, bro.
Oh shit, that's my guest, Andrew in the house.
What's up, Andrew? Thanks for the follow, brother. Andrew Garfield was in a hotel. The hotel he was supposed to have a press conference release and go actually have a meeting with people and talk about Spider-Man 2, right? He was in the hotel. They said come down. He didn't want to come down, so the studio kicked him. That's literally the A to Z of that story. That's why we got Tom.
I mean, that's not the first time that fucking studios have been dicks about it too. But I mean,
you're a professional. You're an actor. You have to do the press release. You know you're getting into a superhero movie. Do it right?
Is that so? He was saying he wouldn't do the press for it, or he was?
No, he was already on
downstairs.
He wouldn't come downstairs. He was like, "No, I'm tired. I don't want to see anybody." He stayed in his room. He was already over there. It wasn't like he was flying the next day or something like that. He was there.
Well, yes, I agree with you, but I also could make the argument saying, well, you know what? How petty of them is it to be that if you don't come downstairs, we're gonna fire you. Like if that's where
Patrick's got it right here in the chat. Patrick just said it. Yep, exactly. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
Yeah, no. That's what I want to. I want to go back and I want to ask Andrew what his Trinity is because we had a chance to kind of. I don't want to get too far back, but I would like to ask Andrew what the Trinity is.
Put it in the
your
chat.
Top three.
Put it in the chat.
Your top three.
Patrick's checked in as the first on the guests, and then we have Rob and Andrew on board next on the hot seat. All right. Cool. Yeah. So Andrew, if you're still listening in, please in the chat put your top three Trinity for Marvel and DC, and we're going to welcome Dark Fox onto the chat as our first guest. Sound good?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right, let's do this here. Here we go. ReelChat. Here we go. Let's find him.
I'm excited to hear about this. I really am. It's such a cool topic to
chat. We have so much info in chat right now. This is awesome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. This is great. All right. Okay, so Patrick is on with us here on ReelChat.
What's up, Patrick?
Patrick, welcome. Dark Fox, how's it going, buddy?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good, man. Good.
That mic is
Sunday.
That mic is coming in clean. I love that sound. That looks good.
Thanks, man. Yeah. I have to turn down the stream because it's delayed.
Yeah. Mute that. Definitely, 100%. It's always delayed. Twitch has I think a 20-second delay. I think. Anyway, so we're gonna get into it. Marvel versus DC. As a core, like when you look at like a core, not just the movies or something like that too, but you look at the heroes, you look at the vibe and stuff like that, the tone. Which area of fan base do you lean toward the most?
Honestly, I would say I lean more towards DC.
Interesting.
Okay, DC. All right, please explain in a few short sentences why.
Well, I'm not a comic book buff, but like, I don't know, man. I just think that Superman is awesome. I think that there's more, I guess, like galaxy stuff going on with those types of characters. So like you have Aquaman, like they're more gods than just people, unlike the Avengers.
Okay.
Besides Thor, with the exception of Thor.
Okay.
And obviously, like Batman, obviously is an exception too. But I just think that there's a lot more to tell, especially with like Green Lantern.
Okay. All right. So you can just you feel a little more of like a powerhouse from that aspect, or like why does that draw your attention more than Marvel?
Yeah, and I feel like honestly, I feel like that DC is very underrated compared to Marvel.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So if you had to pick like a superhero that was your favorite in DC, who would it be?
In DC, like as far as like I said, I'm not a comic book person, so as far as movies are concerned,
Mm-hmm.
I would have to say Aquaman.
Aquaman. Yep. Like I said, I think Jason Momoa did a great job. I think Chris, you'll probably agree with me with James Wan, what he did with that movie. It was pretty. It's pretty amazing. I wouldn't say it was revolutionary like Avatar with James Cameron, but creating an underworld aspect that was easy enough to follow, right? And you're able to keep track of like where you're at and kind of stuff like the building of the different species and the cultures and stuff like that too. I think they did a really good job.
Yeah, the production itself was really good job. I mean, you have to when someone comes to you and said, "Hey, we're going to shoot this underwater," you can just imagine the people at Warner Brothers saying, "How much is this going to cost?" Like, shit. But no, they did a great job with it. I think Jason Momoa's portrayal of Aquaman. I think there are some things to be kind of extrapolated upon and left to be desired. I do think that William Dafoe is criminally underrated. Every scene he's in is wonderful. I do think that the film itself is very colorful. It's anytime somebody talks about Atlantis, I'm all in for that. But Nate would know more about the way how it translated from comics to screen, because that's the screen part of it. Obviously made a ton of money. People loved it. I think that's obviously the big part of it. They were going to make a spin-off of The Deep that was recently announced. It got canceled. But as far as I understand, that Aquaman is still in the DCEU plans to create whatever universe they have coming up.
Yeah, and I think the biggest powerhouse to bring back the DCEU, not just Zack Snyder, the fans, I think the biggest powerhouse that are trying to get it back on board would be Joe Magnolia, who played Slade Wilson, Deathstroke. He has been marketing the hell out of this for like the last since it aired last month. So I would love to see him as Deathstroke. I would love to see Ben Affleck in him, because the way they described it is that he doesn't have the superpowers like Slade Wilson does from Deadpool-esque, because Deathstroke and Deadpool are very similar in the way that they are. But he's more of like a man at the peak of his physique, just like Batman is. So to see that dynamic without any superpowers, I think that'd be really interesting to see. And like you said, I think DCEU might still be on board. If they do the Flash movie justice, I'm holding my breath. I don't know if it's going to get it. I got what I wanted. I got to see the Zack Snyder Justice League movie. If I got more than that, I think we get more than we deserve.
Let's hope, because I mean, Wonder Woman, the new Wonder Woman movie was just god awful. It was terrible.
You don't like 1984?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. All right. Understandable. I can understand like why some people didn't like that movie. There were some flaws.
Was just it was just poor acting, and it's like going back to what the other gentleman said. I'm sorry, I didn't see his name. I just see his CM.
No, I'm Chris, man. No worries,
Chris.
no worries. Nate doesn't mention my name. He tries to keep me in the shadows.
I
won't be kept in the shadows, Nate.
What?
No, I'm kidding. But yeah.
You're featured extra number 3.
Yeah, right. I'm fifth on the call list.
But
he's the Mandalorian guy in the jeans.
I think Tom Holland did a really good job with Spider-Man, but I also do have a place for Andrew Garfield. I think that he should have continued to play Spider-Man. I don't know, but I feel like they could both coexist. Can they not?
I'm curious. We're supposed to be getting there's this whole thing with the whole Doctor Strange movie coming up. Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland are on the cast list on IMDb, so we might have 3 Spider-Men in that movie.
Wait, that's not Doctor Strange though? That's a Spider-Man reunion though, right? It's in
the Doctor Strange movie.
Really?
Yep.
Holy shit!
That multiverse, because they're doing the multiverse now. He's going to go into it with Wanda and stuff like that too. Wanda Maximoff from WandaVision. So on the IMDb list, all 3 of the Spider-Men that we know on screen are in that movie.
Seems already like a full meal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, who was that?
That's Andrew.
Andrew, welcome to ReelChat, bro. You're the next on the list. How's it going, brother?
Good. How are you, dude?
Good, good. Happy to have you on here. I want you and Patrick to explain your guys' viewpoints now. And I'm assuming, Andrew, you're leaning toward Marvel based on what I've seen in chat so far?
We are leaning toward the Marvel. Me and Andrew are on the Marvel team.
I'm pretty sure Rob's going to jump on that train here. I think he's a huge Marvel fan a little bit. Am I right, Rob? He'll be invited here in a little bit. But go ahead.
Yes, I'm riding solo.
Andrew, Pat, no, you're not riding solo. I'm in DC. Look at my shirt. Look at my shirt. Look what's behind me. This is a wanted poster from the show Arrow, signed by Stephen Amell. I am a huge, huge DC fan. Not to mention the first Slade Wilson. Yeah. Manu Bennett. All right.
Nice.
All right, Andrew.
Nice.
Tell me, why does Marvel do it for you more than DC?
That's a complicated question because to be honest with you, it's like a hair in the race is only just like the margin of how much has been won.
Okay.
I enjoy Marvel because of the idea that what if superheroes and what if fantasy and what if magic and what if aliens existed in our universe? Because that is the Marvel universe. It's our plane of existence with superheroes and all of this, incredible feat. DC, however, what's so fun about it is it's an alternate universe. It's a world where we have more metropolitan areas. It's a place where there's even more continents almost hidden away from us. And there's this more bigger and epic feel to DC that I have to acknowledge and agree with, because a lot of it is kind of based around mythology, especially if you look at Grant Morrison or Alan Moore's work. There's this big feel towards epicness and grandness and importance to it. But what's kind of nice, though, is that you find the humbleness in the Marvel characters at times.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll find Daredevil is such a great character because he's such an everyman. And that's the type of characters I just relate more to and gravitate more to. And that's what I find best about Marvel.
Okay. All right. There are a lot of parallels. I can definitely agree with you. Like Atlantis. Atlantis between DC and Marvel, totally different. It's huge.
Totally.
Like if you look at Marvel, Atlantis is more often than not the antagonist than anything else. Namor.
Yeah.
He's way more of an antagonist than Aquaman. They both believe in keeping separate the sea and the land, but Aquaman comes out more than anything to back up the superheroes as opposed to opposing them, like Namor, right? And and then you have Wonder Woman, the mascara and stuff like that too. But then when you look at Marvel, it's more space than anything else. You've got the Immortals coming up next year in a little bit. You've got the Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that too. What I like from DC, I think DC really does a really good job with, more so than Marvel, is integrating other species that have their own teams into the Justice League as a whole. Like with the Green Lantern Corps, I think it trumps was it the Star Corps? What's it called? From
the Nova Corps.
Nova Corps, thank you. Yeah. Or the mascara and stuff like that too. And DC just has a lot more of a powerhouse with their legacies, like I explained in the Zack Snyder one very, very shortly. Like they have a long track record of honoring their B-listers and then promoting them to A-listing cast and doing their own stories.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think especially like you said, DC just does team stories just a little bit better. I do think though, I think that Marvel hasn't quite found its grand multiverse world quite yet. I think that we've only just gotten a small little scratch of it. When we really ramp up to what's out there in space, when we get Silver Surfer and Galactus, the limitless possibilities into there. And then with Doctor Strange, really exploring the vast multiverse of what else is there, in the subverse, and how there's an entire actual society within that, and even the Greek pantheon as well. We still have Hercules to come out with. Still hoping it's going to be that other Hemsworth brother, just because that's just super funny to me.
That'd be awesome. All right, we have a third guest. This is crazy. I'm enjoying the chat. I am enjoying the heck out of all the info that everybody's giving me. I love all the backgrounds and stuff like that too. While I get our third guest involved, Patrick, anything to come back with on your end?
I just feel like even though Marvel doesn't have their way of, as Chris said, really doing the teams like DC does. One thing that does bother me is how the DC movies are so sporadic. They're so different from the way that Marvel does their single superhero movies.
Mm-hmm.
They do it really well. Like the new Joker that came out was pretty good. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan, but I like the Suicide Squad Joker, but like the new Batman that they're coming out with, with the guy from those vampire movies.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's like
Pattinson. Yeah.
you need to figure out what you're gonna do and just go with that. Like, stop changing characters out all the time and doing
Yeah.
these single. It's just confusing to the universe that they're trying to create. But
I couldn't agree more, Patrick. That's
I
great.
No, I agree with that. That's
Yeah,
the problem
absolutely.
with DC. Absolutely, yeah, they have a hard time with that. Honestly,
But the reason why Aquaman like touches home with me is because I really like the underdog, right? And the way that they portrayed him as the underdog in his movie, this bastardized person kicked out, or not kicked out, but just not welcome home. It just kind of it resonated more because a lot of people can relate to that versus just a complete made up background that Marvel has for some of their characters.
and I think I have a parallel for that. But welcome to ReelChat, Rob. What's going on, brother? Yeah, I can hear you.
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, it's a little muted.
Okay.
It's a little quiet. Can you hear me? Okay. Can everybody else hear him?
Rob, can you say something, Rob?
Sure, I'm talking right now. Mike.
Oh, got you.
Mic
Yeah,
check.
a little
1,
low, but
2.
We got you.
We got you, buddy.
I apologize. I've only got one headset, so I'm making the best of I can.
No worries, man.
No worries, man. We're happy to have you.
Good.
Thank you for joining us on
Yeah.
ReelChat. Rob,
Yeah.
where do you stand, bro? I already know, but I want everybody else to know.
I lean more towards Marvel.
For real. And I think the parallel that Patrick's making with Aquaman, I would say the closest person to that on Marvel's side, in my opinion, would probably be Peter Quill. Being out of his element. Being somebody that's not welcome, like he's not home. He's around people that are either constantly trying either to kill him or he's trying to find his way, if I'm not mistaken.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, for the most part, I can agree with that. I can definitely.
Okay. So what about Marvel do you like more so than DC?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna go back to when I was a kid. My first introduction into comics and superheroes as a whole. Before I learned of DC being its own entity, as far as Marvel being its own entity, I was introduced more into superheroes such as Batman, Wolverine, Spider-Man. I didn't know at the time, at that age, that they were separated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
So I originally grew up with this just love for Spider-Man, Wolverine, Batman, just because they were great superheroes. I loved Batman overall originally. He was a badass with money and could hold his own in a fight. I thought that was great. Along with Marvel Wolverine, I love Wolverine because he's a 5'2" hairy little angry dude.
Nobody brought up X-Men except for you. I think you're the only one that said Wolverine.
Yeah, well, like I said, I have love for these guys intently because they were my first introduction.
I can understand that. I have something to say to that too. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, as the years went on and I learned of separation of the comic book companies, my answer towards why I love Marvel more, honestly, has to do with what Andrew, I believe it was Andrew earlier. I was listening to everything he said, and it was legit like he took the words out of his mouth. I was sitting here shaking my head like, yes.
All right. So to go along with why I like DC, little story back into my past. I remember being a kid and going to the Tucson Mall was the coolest thing you could do when you're a kid, especially when you're homeschooled. I remember going down there to the Warner Brothers freaking store that they had at the Tucson Mall back in the day. And you could actually go through the circle back into like the spaceship where all the Looney Tunes were and stuff like that too. But what they had was like Superman and Batman, huge giant statues of them with like memorabilia, action figures and stuff like that too, and lunch boxes. Batman, Superman, those were my boys. Those were the guys I look up to in what they did, what they stood for, and stuff like that as well. I just remember waking up on Saturday morning and watching animated Batman with like Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. Little known fact, Mark Hamill actually wasn't the first voiced person to do Joker. He was brought in after Curry got sick. Steve Curry. The first It. He did Joker. He was originally
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Did I say Steve Curry? My bad. Yeah, I'm not thinking basketball. Tim Curry. His actual laugh, the first laugh of Joker, is still Curry to this day in the Batman animated series. The laugh of the Joker before Mark Hamill made it. I just thought that DC was the coolest thing ever. I started there with comics. I started with watching the action, getting the action figures, watching the show and stuff like that too. Nobody knew. Let's rewind the clock. Nobody knew about Marvel. People knew about Spider-Man, maybe the X-Men, but really nobody knew much about Captain America and Iron Man. That wasn't really somebody's like, oh, I like Iron Man. No, you liked the X-Men. You liked Spider-Man. Everybody loved Spider-Man.
Agreed.
And
I had friends that recognized them through X-Men as well. I have the yep.
Yeah, I'm looking back at like the history in my memory right now, thinking about how these heroes and these characters came to be. We have to give props to MCU, to Marvel itself, becoming a powerhouse in the TV industry with their movies. We have to tip our hat to Favreau every day for what he's given us. I love Marvel. I think they're great. I think they're great movies, but I will 100% be a DC fan to the day I die, just because of how I like the tone. I like the seriousness of those characters and those movies over Marvel. Up until Infinity War.
I'm just gonna pop in real quick, Nate.
Yeah,
because
please.
You talk about that, and you're right. Traditionally, when the IPs, I think it could be argued that on first glance, the Batman cowl and the Superman S are probably the most recognizable comic book logos in history. I mean, people can make an argument for other ones, but I get it. Here's the thing, though. Iron Man was released on May 2nd, 2008, and since then, there has been no looking back. I mean, we're 2021 now, so there's a whole, and you and I have talked about this in length before. There's a whole decade of people that grew up on Marvel movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In that window, they have gravitated towards not just Captain America, but Chris Evans. They follow these people, and it's just their star has just shot super high. And in that time, I would argue that DC's star has kind of fallen, not necessarily because of recognizability, but because of popularity. I mean, if outside of Chris Nolan's, trilogy, which isn't DCEU canon, there hasn't been a supremely successful DC film. When you stack it up, like the top 5 DC films versus the top 5 Marvel films, and I just mean financially, it's not even close. Marvel has 4 of the top 10 films, the highest grossing in the United States history.
See, I will say this. I think I will give props before even Christopher Nolan. I'll give props to Spider-Man. Without Spider-Man, which was the biggest grossing movie for the longest time, with Tobey Maguire, that set the stage. But before that, Batman, from like the original one to Michael Keaton and stuff like that, gave us our first superhero movies that people got before, with a cult following. So Batman and Spider-Man, I think, really paved the way for all these things. Just like the little, like people like us and our parents and stuff like that watch these and remember those. And now we have all these younger kids that want more.
And it's a great time to want more when they can drop a $230 million budget on Captain America Civil War that introduced Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and then rolled into the Avengers. Into what you're saying now is that 3 Spider-Men are going to be in what is it? I can't think. The multiverse. What is Doctor Strange's sequel? I can never remember.
Rob, Andrew, our Marvel team over there.
Multiverse. I believe it's Multiverse of Madness.
That's it.
Correct.
Okay. So, actually, Richard in the chat makes a really good point. Late to the party, but what about DC versus Marvel villains? Like, I lean more Marvel, but I feel like they have had many more forgetful villain roles than DC. 100% DC has a better villain cast. I think we can all agree with that. 100%. 100%. If you think villains, I think Joker, I think Riddler. Come on.
No, I agree.
Come on.
100%.
Like, think about what DC's done to its villains and its rogue gallery and stuff like that, as opposed to Marvel movies.
Well, let me ask you: Is it that DC has better villains, or that Batman has better villains? Because that's one dude.
That's what I was gonna say.
But that just goes to show you how freaking amazing that character is. That he has all these villains to stack up a whole franchise of villains, right?
See, that's the same can be said about Marvel. Because whenever I talk about Marvel with other friends, they're like, hey, name your favorite characters. So I'm like, well, to name my favorite characters, I'm going to go off of villains, because I'm going to single it down to one character, specifically Spider-Man. To me, in all Marvel universe, Spider-Man has the best villain. They
Okay.
beat out X-Men villains. They beat out,
That's a good point.
the Eternal
Yeah.
villains. They beat them all out.
Yeah, that's a hell of a point. I didn't even think about that.
They do. I mean, I can name so many villains straight off of Spider-Man right off the bat, and if I have to do the same thing for DC, I'm gonna go off of the Batman comic.
Yeah, I think Batman and Spider-Man are very parallel like that.
Yeah, exactly. For Superman, I can maybe name 3 or 4 villains. For Flash, I can name 1, maybe.
See, I was gonna say Flash next to Batman probably has the best rogue gallery himself of villains.
And that's something that I'd like to add. When you have these like staple point characters that have obviously like the best roster, you have your Spider-Man and then you have your Batman. When you have like the other tentpoles of like Marvel has like Magneto, which is such a great, complicated, really good villain character. But then on the other end, on a visual aspect, you have Galactus. Like, how epic is that to be able to show off? But then you also have like the lesser knowns that have been so fun to show off, specifically like Thanos, this great big villain that has so much weight to him, and with the multiple, movie idea, you're able to explore and really get into. There's almost this expectation with Batman's villains because everyone's now has a favorite iteration of them. Like, how many Jokers are there that are so different from each other?
Well, the comics actually just explain that. There is actually, for whatever reason, I have to look into it more, there's always been 3 Jokers.
Yeah.
It's a crazy concept. You have to read the comics. It's in the comics. It's not in the TV or anything like that.
Yeah.
But there's always been 3 Jokers. There's been the one...
Really?
That's your problem with DC?
I agree. Me too.
Same.
Me too.
I mean, it's 2 peas in the pod, Batman and Joker. What's the first villain you think of when you think of Batman? Oh, I think of Joker.
Well, the same thing can be said about the X-Men. When you think about the bad guy for the X-Men, it's Magneto, right?
Right, sure. You can say the same about Spider-Man, Green Goblin, whatever. But there's only one Green Goblin. Sure, you can argue that with Hobgoblin.
See, this is where I'm going to crack my fingers real quick here and lay it down with Magneto. Magneto has been 3 different people in the comics. And they've messed it up royally with how it's like, oh, I'm Vibe. Oh, I'm Magneto. No, I'm Eric Lyncher. No, I'm Onslaught, who's actually mindset with Xavier, and we're another villain. So everybody has their flaws with like that, but I agree 100%.
Same thing about Superman.
Really?
Yeah, or...
Okay. Yeah. No, actually, you're right. With the Cyborg Superman and the, what was the Kid Boy Superman, stuff like that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, good point.
And even
good
Batman.
Point.
They even tried to bring it on the screen with, Shaq. He was Steel. That's a variant of Superman. I mean,
Yeah.
That's a movie nobody wants to talk about. And
See, but there was a reason for that. There was a reason for all those Supermen. It's because Superman died. So it was like a power vacuum, right? So Lex Luthor tried filling it with a clone of Superman's blood and his DNA. There was a regular guy, Victor Steele or something like that, who became Steel, which was a Steel Superman and wore the suit of armor like John Henry with the hammer and stuff like that too. So that I could get behind, that there was a purpose for all those. They were trying to be the next Superman. So I can get behind that. I can't get behind all the the different complexities of like the Joker or like the Magneto portion and stuff like that too. Well, I think what tips the scales in my mind with Marvel a little bit, just a little bit. I'm gonna give you an inch. Is the fact that they have a character like Deadpool who can be a hero and a villain at the same time.
Or an anti-hero.
Yeah. Which, if I look at DC,
Yeah.
Patrick, back me up here. I can't really think of a character that can match that kind of intensity that Deadpool has. Did we lose Patrick? Dark Fox? He's not coming through anymore.
I can't.
There he is,
I
there he is.
honestly can't think of a character that matches Deadpool from the DC universe.
I was gonna say I really can't. Yeah, go ahead. What's your question?
Speaking of Deadpool, is that because he's the only character essentially who breaks the 4th wall? Can you think of any other characters that break the 4th wall, talk to the reader or even the audience?
Well,
go ahead.
that's kind of difficult to ask because I think so many comics are written in like a first-person narrative. So where do you introduce that 4th wall mentality? I totally understand the question. Like when you get to the movies, that Ferris Bueller effect the Deadpool had. I think like if you were to look at like Lobo, that is like your safest bet on a character that could accomplish what Deadpool has done.
The main man.
Well, closest you're gonna get. Yeah, sure.
Can I please get a W in the chat for frickin' Danny Trejo to play Lobo in a DCEU movie? Please.
No,
I would watch the hell out of that. What?
I'm gonna argue that. That should have been Momoa. Jason Momoa should have been that, in my opinion.
No, see, I liked him as Aquaman. When they said they was going to cast for Aquaman, I jumped on that train immediately. And then looking into his interviews, the reason why he dyed the tips of his hair blonde was to pay homage to the original character of the blonde white, the white dude, surfer dude. I liked what Jason Momoa did. I think he added more of an intensity to the background for it. I would not have liked to see him as play Lobo because it's just like him playing another Khal Drogo. I think he broke a little more out of his shell with Aquaman than he could have done with Lobo.
I can't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Can't.
I don't know if Momoa got it off of coming off of people really liking Game of Thrones for being Khal Drogo. Like that's why he got that role. I mean, and to be honest, he didn't there wasn't a lot of heavy lifting acting wise. I mean, let's be honest, there wasn't an emotional arc within that film that was something that was transcendent, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
You should a ringer in my book. Thank you.
He definitely has the Aquaman look, though.
This is why I love Marvel cinematically because, in my opinion, they do character development. The fact that well, here's my argument. Tony is freaking out in Iron Man 3 about the fact that aliens are now coming into Earth, they're attacking Earth, and he's basically having anxiety attacks. Like the fact that they're acknowledging that still a whole how many more years later with that movie coming out, I appreciated that fact.
I will give credit to RDJ for that more than the studio, but go on.
That's fair. That's fine. I'll write that out. But DC doesn't do that with me. Superman, Man of Steel destroyed a whole block and some buildings, and Ben Affleck standing there pissed off, and he's like, "Oh, do you bleed? I'm gonna make you whatever he says to him." Like, there's no character development.
Okay, so here's the character development of this. Patrick, back me up here a little bit. If you look at Batman as he moved from just the two movies alone, from BVS to Justice League. In BVS, I got more of a Frank Miller Return of the Dark Knight vibe. He's like an older Batman. He's darker. He's more vicious and stuff like that too. And then you look at his transition of him in Justice League. You get more of a Bruce Wayne wanting to be more hopeful and a team player and build up a team. And the character development, you see him trusting his allies as opposed to somebody that was closed off from the world, was just doing his own thing, fighting with Alfred about bringing people together or anything like that too. He's like, no, I don't trust these people. They need to go. What happens if this? What happens if that? So I can see the character development from there.
Yeah, facts.
You know?
Well, my argument with that though is that we see that character development, or that I don't even know if I can call it development because it's just a quick change. We see that immediately in Batman versus Superman. As soon as Superman says Martha, to trigger, this effect of like, oh, this guy has a mother, this guy is a person, this guy, I'm wrong. Like it's instantaneous. When you look at Thor's story, from an arrogant god to then having to learn humility, to then becoming a hero, to understanding his place in the universe, to then that being totally changed into a leader, and then a loser, and then to rise up again, you have the benefit of just this long narrative to where you actually get a positive and real relationship with this character. I totally understand and see your point. Mm-hmm. Like, he totally does go from this Frank Miller, like, the benefit from, like, Dark Knight Returns is that he's 60. So, like, half the shit he does with firing guns and using, like, Mr. Freeze's bombs and stuff like that, you kind of forgive because he's got a bad back. But when Ben Affleck's 45, you kind of just go, I feel like there's some anger issues we're not talking about, and maybe we should, like, go to therapy a little bit here, Bruce. I mean, I understand you got a little boy killed. Like, that's fucked up. But
all right, let's jump on that. Let's talk. Yeah, that's Andrew.
Is this Andrew? I just want to acknowledge my man real quick.
Oh my god.
I'm buying you a steak. Everything you just said, again, I'm sitting here, yes, and yes.
Okay, so let's talk about the fact that when people say that Batman doesn't use guns, Batman doesn't use guns to kill, like just right out kill people, which they made a really awesome portrayal of that in Batman Beyond. But Batman's always used guns. Look at Nolan's films.
1940s.
Look at Nolan's films. Like, he had guns on the tank that he was driving. he used guns in a way to not necessarily kill people, but still use them. So I don't understand when people say, "Oh, Batman doesn't use guns. Ben Affleck's using guns on his car." Christian Bale did it first. Like stop that. You know, it's whatever. Batman will.
Technically, Keaton did it first.
Okay, well, Keaton.
Correct you there, bud.
Okay, sorry. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to use the closer movies that people know about. But yes, you
All
are
right,
absolutely correct.
this is kind of old, but going back to what Chris was saying about the Marvel movies and how they're grossing and doing very well, and Nathan, how you said with Jon Favreau being behind the helm of all the new Marvel movies. The thing is with DC is they're just getting started. They have so much to learn from the Marvel movies as they have come out to where I feel like they have a shit ton to tell.
Poggers.
And they have a lot to learn from, and they're gonna come out strong. And then also,
I agree. I think honestly, to back you up on that, Patrick, when Black Adam comes out, everybody loves The Rock. I think DC is gonna freaking skyrocket with people and fans wanting to see more, just because The Rock is gonna be playing Black Adam.
I just want everyone to
Black
know
Adam.
that was a cheap
Yeah.
shot. Nathan knows I'm a huge Rock fan.
Don't.
That's where he knows he
It's on my notes. I'm like, bring up Black Adam. Rob's gonna jump on it.
That's goddamn right, my man, The Rock. That's the only reason I know how to move my eyebrows, because of that man right there. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness.
Ramad Skull says in chat, Infinity War was pretty dark though, and it did well. I just think DC needs better writers for their films.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. I do. I also, in my opinion, I think they need a little bit of not just writers, but I would go with better directors. And I'm going to attack Zack Snyder. To me,
Why?
whenever I watch a Zack Snyder, I'm going to tell you. In my opinion, again, Zack Snyder and I'm going to use Michael Bay as well. To me, they're great music video directors.
Yep.
Great music video directors.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Great for scenery. Storytelling and the direction that he's given their actors, I disagree with. There's so much more he can utilize and have these actors do to tell the story that he's not doing, in my opinion. I think he's dropping the ball, and they're failing in a sense. I watched the Justice League Snyder Cut a week and a half ago, I want to say, and I was bored throughout the whole movie, and I felt like...
Get off my chat. You're done. How do I exit him? Get me off of here. How are you bored for 4 hours?
He's right.
Easily.
Right. Yeah, he's
Very easily.
yeah. Dude, you're 100% right. Honestly, we've talked about this in length, Andrew and I, about Zack Snyder being the stylistic director. And sure, they're pretty, but that's it. Like if you look back at it, 28 was he remade I'm gonna kill myself. Dawn of the Dead, which was good, but it had no IP. He did Sucker Punch, which is hyper stylized, 300 hyper stylized. When you get
I'll go back to The Watchmen. I think The Watchmen was great.
You're okay, sure, but
That was his first crack at a superhero movie.
But again, like you give someone,
I will give you that one.
yeah. I mean, in Watchmen was good. I mean, but the talent involved with Watchmen kind of like it drove itself. The bus kind of drove itself at that point, and plus there was source material to go off of.
I wouldn't say it drove itself because nobody knew about it. Nobody knew about the Watchmen.
Talent drove itself.
Oh,
like
okay.
that's what I mean. Like here, I mean, Zack Snyder, Henry Cavill. I mean, let's be honest. The dude's incredibly good looking, but I mean, his acting skill set. I mean, he's not winning awards. Let's be honest. So I think that's part of it. And
Yeah.
and let's be.
Witcher.
They chose Superman and Cavill, and Marvel chose RDJ and Iron Man. And RDJ, he has won awards. He will continue to win awards, and I think that's part of it. That's just the decision-making process, and I just want to agree 100% that yeah, I think that Zack Snyder shouldn't be in charge of doing any more DC films. Like,
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so-
I saw RDJ cry on screen. I felt that. I felt the connection.
Yeah.
I can see that.
So-
Cavill, I love him. Don't get me wrong, Nathan. You and I have talked about Cavill.
Many times. Many
I gotta
times.
love him.
Yeah. Okay.
He hasn't wowed me.
Geeksplain. Oh my God! Geeksplain podcast just followed.
oh
my God!
My big gun just showed up. All right. So,
All right.
My man.
What's up, buddy?
I don't know you. I don't know you. What's up?
All right, so to go on the track with the director's process here, here's what I see happening a lot, and which is interesting. We have some Marvel directors coming on board with the DC train. Are you guys going to watch James Gunn's Suicide Squad? Patrick, go ahead.
Yeah, I will be.
Right? Because I think I'm very excited for it. I think it's going to be interesting. It's still DCEU characters, but it's a different director at the film, at the helm.
It's also free. Let's not discount that. It's free. So there's that. You know, you don't have, if you have HBO, it's free. So, I mean, if I'm bored on Friday, yeah, I'll throw it on. But am I going out on a Friday night at 8 p.m. to get into a theater? Probably not. That's just,
Agreed.
you know,
Agreed.
I'm just putting that out there.
I'm excited.
I want to acknowledge this. My issue is I'm curious, so I'm gonna go. Oh, what if it is good? That's my problem. So I'll probably end it again. It's free, like you were saying. So I'll probably watch it. It's free, but I already found something. So I love to rip things apart. I love to hate. It's a problem I've got.
You do. You really freaking do. That's why I wanted to get you on here.
So I'm gonna give you guys an example. I love ripping things apart. To me, that's art. Art isn't art if I can't rip it apart and find its flaws.
You need to trademark
That being
that.
said, that being said, I watched the trailer for Suicide Squad, and I'm gonna go right to it. King Shark is a character I think is cool.
King Shark is a shark.
Here's my problem, and I could be wrong because I haven't seen the movie, but judging from the trailer, they're doing the Groot thing. The laziest thing in the world. My biggest problem with Guardians of the Galaxies. I am Groot. I think they're doing the same thing with King Shark, and my example of it being where King Shark's sitting there and he's like, I have a hand. What in the shit? What in the shit kind of writing is this? In my opinion, that's my problem. It goes back to my problem with BVS. Must save Martha. Oh, my mom's name happens to be Martha. That's how lucky is that? I'm gonna let you live, buddy.
So, okay, I thought when I was a kid reading the comics and I found out that Batman and Superman both had the mom named Martha, I thought that was interesting. I always wanted to see that somebody touch on that. So I was in the theater. I didn't jump on it because I thought it was good writing. I jumped on it because I'm like, oh my god, somebody finally made that connection that I made when I was like 10. You know, I was like, nobody ever brought that up. Nobody ever brought that up.
Nathan.
Well, come on.
That's really gross.
Get out of here.
I believe this is why I'm not a successful film screen actor, because I would probably get in arguments with the director saying, you want me to say Martha to my enemy on screen and I'm going to survive? This is what you want me to do? I don't like that. That does nothing. It's lazy writing. It's shit in my opinion.
Okay, so to go back to like the writing style in the movies and stuff like that too, I think we can all agree that in order for the film and for the superhero to be great, you have to have an amazing antagonist. And I think that's the reason why I haven't been on board with the Marvel movies so far until Thanos. Because your hero is only as good as the villain. And I think that's why Batman's so good, because all the Joker movies that have come out, the Joker's been amazing.
Well, I would argue that Iron Man was that because his greatest enemy was his history and himself. And I think
that's good. I like that because I hated like the first two. I hated the first two villains in Iron Man. I think they're horrible. They were cliche.
I'm buying you steaks too. That's two dudes I'm buying steaks. I'm buying you steaks, man. This is what I'm talking about. Nathan, it's a good thing I actually made it out. What the hell?
My point to that for Marvel though is like, how do you show scale and how do you show weight and gravitas to a character when you have so many villains that the characters are easily able to stop over and over again? When you're trying to sell 2 movies, I think when you have a character that's just dominates and decimates most of the heroes for the first movie, you're gonna get more seats in the theater for the second one.
Okay. Well, I think that's why they did such a good job with Thanos. I think he was really good. Like, that movie was dark. That was like DC dark. People's lives were on the line.
Yeah.
So from the get-go with Thor and Heimdall and stuff like that. I cried.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I cried with Loki and Heimdall and the ship.
Yeah.
That was tough to watch for a Marvel movie. I was surprised by that because I hadn't seen them do that in a while. I'm probably the only person that hated Smart Hulk. I think that I didn't like that.
Oh, I didn't like it either.
I think they destroyed the Hulk's character. The whole purpose of the Hulk is that he's a time bomb. There is no longer an intensity from that character. He was just used as a comedic trope, which is what they tried to do with Flash with Joss Whedon. I hated the Joss Whedon movie.
See, I don't know if anybody else shares this issue, but growing up seeing these characters and villains, either or, you kind of have this perception, this expectation, the way you see them, and you kind of, so going into these movies with these writers basically dictating what these characters are doing, do you kind of feel a sense of disappointment in a manner of speaking?
For which are we talking broad strokes or
for any and for just doesn't matter which character and just any in general. Do you have like so you love Batman and Superman?
yeah?
Do you have a certain expectation because you recognize them for this reason or for another reason that you just have an expectation? But
I would agree with that. I think it's very subjective depending on the person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree.
Yeah.
To make your point, yes, I would. But I think that all stems from me watching the animated movies or the shows. I think DC is a powerhouse with their animated movies over Marvel.
I will 100% give you that. I will give you that for instance of I can't remember which animated movie it was, but there was it was a Batman and Robin cartoon I was watching, and essentially Joker was just wreaking havoc. He was blowing up a train.
Under the Red Hood.
It might have been. I can't remember, but the point of it is essentially all Joker wanted to do is he sent Batman a gift, and Batman wouldn't open it. It was a package or whatever. And Joker was threatening to kill people. He was threatening to just be a total butthole, all for a joke. So that's what I recognize Joker as. All he wanted to do was have Batman open up his package and just have a pie smacked in Batman's face, just for a laugh. To me, that's Joker. So saying that with these different Jokers on screen, for instance, Heath Ledger, rest in peace, wonderful actor, phenomenal job, not a great Joker in my opinion.
Ooh, wow.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
You're gonna have your team jump back at you like, you know what, take that steak and shove it. I'm kidding.
I love to rip things apart, and I'm bold, so I will step up and say that he's a wonderful actor. He did an amazing job in the Nolan film. He did a great job, but to me, that's not a Joker. Same with this stupid Leto and his crap that he pulled.
Patrick, you want to jump on that?
in my opinion, Nicholson is Joker because he was just being a butthole all for a laugh. That is Joker, and I think Nicholson took that entity and made it himself. That's why I'm saying.
Well, I think every DC fan will agree that nobody will trump Jack Nicholson's Joker, but for the seductive, type of Joker, like nobody plays the New Age Joker as well as when Heath Ledger did.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like the anarchist portion of Heath Ledger, which is where he came from.
He was just trying to tear shit up.
Yeah, he was there.
I don't like the labeling. Like for instance, Leto's the gangster Joker or whatever. Heath is the anarchist, and Nicholson's the clown. I don't like that.
You just touched on all three of the Jokers in the comics. Well done.
Well, this is what I was saying earlier. I hate that. That's stupid in my opinion. Leave it to one Joker, two peas in a pod, Batman Joker. And the way I recognize Joker is he annoys Batman for a laugh, just to have a pie thrown in his face.
Okay, so now let's talk about, since we talked about what is in the past, let's talk about future tense, chat. Where do you guys want to see Marvel go next? I want them to introduce Marvel's first family, Fantastic Four, the right way. That's one of the problems that Marvel's had, is that they have not been able, they've had way too many remakes. They need to do it right. They need to integrate the X-Men and the Fantastic Four universe into the MCU.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think so too. I think that with going forward with Marvel or with Disney gobbling up Fox and therefore allowing them to produce Fantastic and X-Men IPs, I think starting with a fresh X-Men slate, because like you mentioned, you're watching cartoons in the 90s. That was X-Men. Wolverine, there's a whole generation of people that don't know anything about the X-Men, but they know who Wolverine is, and they know who Cyclops is, they know who Storm is. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot for there. And with the money that Disney can push in, and with Kevin Feige at the head, I mean, yeah, I don't know enough about Fantastic Four to really kind of go far into that story. But as far as X-Men goes, if you say Disney is pushing out an X-Men film backed, produced by Kevin Feige into the MCU, people will line up in droves.
See, this is what I want to see. I want to see John Krasinski play Mr. Fantastic. I want to see his wife, Emily Blunt, play Invisible Woman, and I want to see Mark Strong play Dr. Von Doom. That would be the best casting, in my opinion, for those guys.
I just want to name two casts real quick. Nathan needs to be Human Torch. I need to be Ben Grimm. Cast. Done deal.
I would love to take that home, bro. I mean, think about it. That's where Chris Evans started. He was Torch, the Human Torch, and then he was Captain America. I would love to do that. I would love to see that. Geeksplain was going to say the same thing about X-Men.
Yeah, we're on the same page, baby.
Ruman Skull says, "Give Fantastic Four space. It's too soon." But honestly, I mean, where do you guys think? I want to see Fantastic Four with those casts. I don't want to see the young one anymore. I don't want to see that crap show that they had with the last Fantastic Four we got. With like the younger cast. I don't want to see that. Don't do that.
Well, if they're building a franchise, they have to be young, right? They have to be like I think the Marvel actors signed on for 8 pictures each. I mean, if you make a picture every other year, that's 16 years. So,
right, but I don't want too young. I don't want like guys coming out of high school. That's what I don't want to see.
Oh, okay, I see.
I want to see
Tom Holland young.
No, I want like mid-adult,
mid-20s.
Yeah, like and then X-Men.
But I want no names specifically. Like I don't want no big
Yeah,
names.
that's important.
I want new people. Like
It won't happen. That's what Marvel has never not used no names. Everybody, you can name everybody.
Well, not at first though. Yeah, exactly. You can now.
Hugh Jackman showed up as Wolverine. Nobody even had a clue who Hugh Jackman was. He had one movie, what was Swordfish? Nobody knew what that movie was.
I saw that.
Halle Berry.
I did.
I saw that. I was like, I saw that for that exact
here's
reason.
a fun fact, and this is credit all to be explained to Eric. Yeah, and did you guys know that they were, and this goes out clear 100% to Eric from Geeksplained, that Bob Hoskins was considered for Wolverine because he was a short, fat, hairy dude.
Yep.
Like that, like, so imagine how those careers would have shifted had they casted, Bob Hoskins, who's, again, RIP, but, I think, they do cast no-name people, and they should. They may build a career like Chris Hemsworth got. The dude is a household name because of Thor. There's no arguing that. And Evans, Evans was he had done a few things. He was really great in another team movie. He was in Fantastic Four, which is dog shit. But now you say Chris Evans, people think Captain America, and so they're career makers. So and Tom, but I would like to see them with no name people to agree with your point.
On the flip side, Patrick, DC, do you think they should restart it over again with a new Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman cast? Because I love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I can't visually picture anybody else besides maybe a no-name actor that's right for the part.
She is beautiful.
She's amazing as Wonder Woman. I liked her very much in the first film, and I feel like the second film was just due to poor writing.
I came out of the theater watching the first Wonder Woman feeling differently about war and like conflict and stuff like that. I think that's what the movie did for me. I liked the first one a lot.
I want to say something, but I want to ask Andrew.
Going on Batman. Yeah, I do think they need to redo that.
Well, Robert Pattinson, he's supposed to be Batman year 1.
On Earth 2, though.
On Earth 2. Yep.
I want to.
Joker doesn't exist.
It's supposed to be Riddler, Penguin. Have you guys seen the pictures of was it Colin Farrell as Penguin? My God, he doesn't even
unrecognizable.
Unrecognizable. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like, insane.
I'm excited for that movie because I like the guy that they picked for Edward Nygma. I like that actor.
I'll give you this. I will go pay money and watch the theater. It caught my.
Yeah, the music was great. It's very dark, the way Batman's supposed to be and stuff like that too. It's like he's already Batman. He's already got the training, so you don't have to see the whole origin story all over again.
Thank God for
but
that.
I know, but like it looks interesting. I like who they picked for Selena Kyle. It's gonna be. I think it's it looks good. I can't wait for that this year.
I think partly the reason people can't wait for it is because subconsciously they don't like Ben Affleck as Batman. Like I think that's part of it. But I want to go back to talk about Wonder Woman and the casting of that too, because I want to ask Andrew. We've had a long conversations about Gal Gadot specifically as Wonder Woman. I'm not going to shit on Gal Gadot, although I do think that her acting chops are limited. But do they recast? Do you think they recast her? Because she's only signed on for one more film. Her and Patty Jenkins are doing one more, and that's it.
Yep.
So we're gonna have to give her a small island.
I don't know more of what they could do with Wonder Woman that they haven't already, besides putting her in another film with other people. That's why I'm curious. If they're doing a third, good on them, because I think that they've got some good stuff there. But I don't know how you can expand that character anymore.
Andrew?
I think I think with like the limited window they gave Wonder Woman, and specifically with just like the complete like just like they destroyed the entire like Greek mythology line, which I think was a terrible decision.
The
There's so much
Hades.
well of information that you can go for if you were to restart or do like a soft reboot in the third one if they wanted to go into, or even go to like the doors of Hades opens up and all of this new monsters and content is released into the world type of deal. I think like
I think that's what
there's
Marvel's
so
doing
much.
right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's like so much that like hasn't quite been like tapped into with Wonder Woman, and like yeah, I
Agreed.
think like
I
there's so
think
much potential.
they need to quit making it as much as a love story than anything.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. Like I said, I'm curious to see where it goes with it. I would love to see another Shazam movie because they're doing Black Adam. I would love to see. I think that guy did like the hate the actor got for the way he looked with as Shazam was horrible just to watch the internet just like tear him apart. Because I think
Zach Levi?
Zach Levi. Yeah, they were
He got
saying
hate on that? Really?
dude. Yeah, they said his muscles weren't real. It's a bodysuit and all this other stuff. He like I listened to his.
Like
I mean, that's true. It is a
Yeah.
bodysuit.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
like it did look like.
It looked like one, but it's not. It
No,
wasn't.
it's a bodysuit. He's
No.
not that big. He's
That
not
was in the
big.
podcast.
That big.
No, it's
Yeah,
a
he's
football.
not that
He
big,
got in
bro.
shape.
No, he did get in shape.
Sure, he did, but it's partly a bodysuit. Like
Yeah,
they
he's not
padded
that
it out,
big.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Maybe I don't know. I just remember watching his podcast. I'm not going to put words in his mouth or anything like that. I just remember him going on a podcast with Michael Rosenbaum, Lex Luthor from Smallville, Flash from the DC Justice League Unlimited, and he was just talking about how much depression he went through for doing what he could to get his body to that shape. And the fact that people were just tearing him apart. The same thing could be said about what they did with Titans too. The girl that they picked for Starfire, you know, she's African American and stuff like that
Yeah.
too. And they're like, oh no, she's a redhead.
You know,
I
this
like-
is what you're saying is a perfect opportunity to actually go into Wyatt Russell as the new Captain America for the
Oh, God.
Falcon and Winter Soldier show.
I haven't seen the new one yet. The one that came out yesterday. Don't say anything. Or Friday.
It's-
I won't
Haven't
say-
seen it yet.
I'll say this: yesterday's episode made me start to like him as the character.
Me too.
Well, he's a fall from grace role.
Me too.
In my opinion, he is a great actor in a hated role. In my opinion.
Okay. Well, we talked about. I think we had an episode for. Did we, Chris? Like our second
We
one. We
did.
talked about. I
Yeah,
don't know if you guys
yeah.
saw that. It's on YouTube. Check it out.
Oh, okay.
We talked about it. About what we liked and what we disliked. I am really excited to see more of Zemo. I think that I loved him in Inglourious Bastards. I was surprised to see him in this movie, and I think he's great. You know, when in the show, the third episode, when he was introduced with the mask and stuff like that too. I saw the mask, and I'm like, it looks like Thanos. I immediately saw the ridges in the purple mask. I'm like, is that a joke? Is that him trying to rub it into the Avengers' face that he's kind of wearing a mask that kind of looks like Thanos? But then I looked at the comics, and it's kind of similar. So I don't know much about that character. So I'll leave it up to Eric and Andrew to educate me on that.
Yeah, I mean, like for the design, it's minus like the slitted eyes, but we're still missing that from Batman. Like Deadpool achieved it. Like, come on, everyone. But
All these characters are gonna look the same in the comics. You can only go so
no,
far
exactly.
with costume design. It's you're pushing your limit.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to make another Dead movie? Do you think Ryan Reynolds is going to be in the MCU?
He's confirmed for a cartoon, or R-rated cartoon.
Do you think we're ever going to see Spider-Man and Deadpool live action on film?
I don't know.
That would be an expensive collaboration between Sony and Marvel again.
He
my
wants
money
it, he
is
wants
on
it
a
so
new
bad.
actor.
A new actor for Deadpool? Oh God, that hurts.
Yeah, I know
Oh.
exactly, but my money would be on a new actor before that happens.
All right, so
My hat's still in the ring, boys. You hear that?
I'm buying you a 6-ounce steak now, not a T-bone, nothing fancy. Pushing it down
That's
a little
fair.
bit.
That's right. I'm not saying that I want that. I'm just saying that like I could see that happen before with just like the amount of things that Marvel has to do before that.
I'm talking to a lot of actors in the chat right now, in ReelChat as well too. If you could yourself be cast as one of the superheroes, either Marvel or DC, who would it be and why? Let's start with Rob.
Can I ask first
Mhm.
before you, like cast as any hero in specific, just that you would want to be, because we already have, for example, Chris Evans is the Captain America now.
You could be Captain America, yeah. If you had the chance, like say for example, no, not like restarting it or anything like that, but if you could be a superhero in the movies, who would you be and why?
Hey, real quick, Rum and Skulls put a good question. What if you could be a villain?
A villain? Okay, we'll do that
Could you
next.
be a
We'll do
villain
that.
too?
We'll do that next. I want to
Yours.
start with heroes first. Let's start with heroes.
Okay.
All right, Rob, go. DC, who?
That's tough to answer, man. Have you seen me?
I haven't seen you in a while since you said you were going to come up Thursday. I never heard from you.
I worked. I got called in.
Ah, okay. Well, then, we'll put you on the burner. Andrew, do you got an answer?
For Marvel, Daredevil. For DC, I would say, I just love Red Hood / Jason Todd so much, and I think like
I would love to see Jensen Askles as that part, but you'd kill it too, man. Definitely.
I have this whole idea for like an HBO, like what if like Jason Todd was so close to hitting 30 and has such a big existential crisis.
He's gonna be in Titans.
That like
he's coming in Titans season 3.
Oh, it hurts so much.
I know he's coming out. He's gonna be in the HBO show Titans. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna have 3 Robins in that show. It's great. Speaking of Batman without the cowl, I think Ian what's his face did a great job as Bruce Wayne in that show. I liked him as Bruce Wayne. I thought that was great. I don't know if anybody saw it on HBO Max. Titans. The guy who played Jorah from Game of Thrones was playing Bruce Wayne in the show. I think he did a great job.
I love that actor.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. He did the freaking Adam West dance with like this on the show, and I was like, that's an awesome nod to the first Batman. I thought that was great. Rachel says Jean Grey. Geeksplain says Wolverine. Rachel says Raven. Oh, Raven. Yes, Raven. Love Raven. Absolutely.
Rachel, I think you would kill it as Raven. And what's up, girl?
Patrick. Go for it.
DC or Marvel?
Both. Go for either one.
Both.
Yeah, you have to do one or each.
Marvel, I'd say probably Deadpool.
You want to be Deadpool? Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
you got the humor behind you. That I can totally see that.
Exactly.
Rachel says, "Aw." Hey, Rob. All right. What about DC?
For DC, that's tough.
Yeah, you got me on stump.
Chris.
How dare you?
I know. I gave you the curveball.
No,
I took so much notes down for this, guys. This has been the biggest thing I want to talk about.
I would say Aquaman. Not that I have the physique for it, but I'm just saying like the humility behind the character as it is right now in the films.
I was gonna say if you didn't say that, you mentioned it a lot, and I think you really compare yourself to that guy's tribulation. So that's really cool. I like that. Okay. Chris, do you have an answer for me?
No, I'm not an actor.
Yes, you are. Come
no,
on.
I'm not. I'm the director.
Eric,
I would be.
Who played Evan? Who played Evan?
But no.
Wait, hold on. Let's back up even further than that. What about that first movie he did around a campfire? Pretty sure he was in that too.
Damn, I hope nobody had seen that. But I'm not even going to talk about it.
Yeah. Answer the question, Chris. Eric says, answer the question, Chris. Chris is Iron Man.
No, just that's Iron. That's because I'm snarky and I'm kind of a dick.
Can I answer for you?
Which isn't wrong. Well, no, they can't answer for me. But
No, can I answer for you?
Sure, go for it.
Yeah? I could totally see you playing Cyclops.
Bro, because I wear glasses.
Sure,
I knew it.
sure.
You make fun because I can't see.
No,
you, dude.
no.
I'm kidding.
No, I love Cyclops. Cyclops, but I could totally see you playing Cyclops, man.
I think it's much more interesting to play a villain.
Arc.
I would
We're getting there.
like that.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you mine. I love Batman. I love Batman to death. He's my boy. I don't think I have the chops to play Bruce Wayne and Batman. I would love to wear the cowl. I mean, hell yeah. Flash, Run Barry Run, I think has always had the darkest backstory to DC than anybody else in the DC universe. One, for the fact that
I told you I could see you as.
I know. I thought Kyle Rayner would be really cool too. But for DC, I would love to play Barry Allen, not Wally West. Barry Allen, because of the fact that he has to live every single day of his life, knowing that he could save his mom, knowing he can get his dad out of prison, but he chooses not to because he knows what it would do to the freaking universe. He has the power to do it, unlike Superman or Batman that can change their past. They can't. He can. For Marvel, that's tough. I like Daredevil. I like Punisher. I love Johnny Berthal as Punisher. I hope they bring those guys in. I think that they missed a lot of opportunity with that, especially with Civil War, and they didn't bring any of their shows in when they had the rights to it at the time. But Human Torch, I could have some fun with that. I feel like Human Torch would be fun.
I've been saying it.
Yep, I love that character. I think there's a lot of good stuff with that, especially with his arc with Vision and Wanda, what happens to their kids. But I won't go into that because there's spoilers for WandaVision's next season because they just got announced that there is going to be a WandaVision season 2 next year.
Did they? I missed that. Are you sure?
Yeah,
I missed
100%. Yep.
Nice.
All right, Nathan, I might have an answer for you.
Yep.
I think I do.
Hit me. I'm still waiting for Andrew to chime in, but go on. Yep.
I'm going to ask you your opinion first before I answer. I'm just curious to hear it real quick.
Okay.
Either or one of the two. Your opinion, because you know me. Everyone else, apologize. Eventually, maybe we'll see you get to know me. We'll see. Go for it.
You said you're going to buy a steak. I'm pretty sure that's how they're getting to know you, but, I'm pretty sure they're going to chime in on that one next time they're in Tucson. Go on. Say it.
Oh, I was curious to know your placement for me before I gave you my opinion on my...
DC or Marvel?
Either one. Hit me. I'm curious.
For DC, as a hero, honestly, Rob, for you, it's a twofer for me. Okay? Because I know you have it in you. I believed you as an actor for the longest time. Andrew, I'm sorry. I could totally see you being Jason Todd. Red Hood.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Either that character or, and Rachel's going to jump on this too, even though you're not the ethnicity for it, I would have loved to see you be Blue Beetle.
Interesting.
The second Ted Cord. I think that would have been awesome. There's a guy's head in your mind. You have to work with it the whole time. I would love to see a Blue Beetle movie. But I'm going to throw this out here because this is a little known character from DC. I would love to play the Flash, but I feel like just my persona and the way that I would be cast in Hollywood, I think I would get Booster Gold.
Put you in the ringer, and that'd be a good character for you too. You do that justice.
Booster Gold, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, the ego, the talkative hothead guy that thinks he knows everything. That's totally me.
Yeah, but you would still bring grounding and relatability to it.
Thank you. I would have loved to see freaking Nathan Fillion play Booster Gold, honestly, but that's just me.
Agreed.
If he didn't get Hal Jordan, because he's been voicing Hal Jordan for years on the Justice League Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Andrew, I think we're waiting on you. Or Rob, did you say you're Marvel guy? I know you said Ben Grimm before. I know you said Ben Grimm.
Right now for Marvel, and DC right now, and
Okay.
I'm gonna go big. You know me, go big or go home.
Mm-hmm.
Bold. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I can relate to the alter egos. Is why I'm throwing myself in the ringer for this. I'm gonna say Clark Kent, Superman, and Peter Parker, Spider-Man, because I can do the glasses, nerdy loser side so easy and have fun with it, and then just let loose if I need to be on the hero. Throw my name out there, doing it.
Okay, awesome. That's great. I like that. That'd be awesome.
I think for Marvel, I would go with Scarlet Spider,
Ooh,
either for Ben Reilly or for Kane. Yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun.
I'm buying you an expensive steak.
I got him back. Got him back, folks.
See,
We got him back on the team.
all right, now let's go to Marvel real quick. I would love to see Justin Theroux play Harry Osborn. I don't know what it is. He's got the head for it, I feel like. But let's go to
body for it too.
Yeah, I would love to see him play Justin Theroux. No knocking my boy Willem Dafoe because I think he did a great Green Goblin. But probably the best part of that movie was him, in my opinion. But let's talk about villains, DC, Marvel villains. Chris, you better. I'm not gonna let anybody else answer until you answer this one.
Oh
Villain.
man, I
Villain.
don't even.
Villain.
Oh, I don't have that. My knowledge of the.
Marvel or DC?
You know what I'd like to be? You know what I'd like to be?
Yeah.
I'd like to be General Zod.
Ooh, okay.
I think General Zod in Man of Steel was validated on why he went after Russell Crowe. I can't think of his character. But,
Jor-El.
Jor-El, thank you very much.
I love Russell Crowe's Jor-El. I thought that was great.
The best part of Man of Steel was when those two are on camera together.
Yes.
Hands down.
I love those scenes. I love the fact that they finally said why General Zod and those guys were the way they were. They weren't just evil. It was in their DNA that they could not do anything but the mission.
And
Finally, they said that.
I shit on DC a lot, but Man of Steel, and Andrew can attest this, I've taken a lot of slack from Andrew. I actually really liked Man of Steel. That's probably the only DC movie I really enjoyed. So
I love the first part on Krypton. We actually got to see fighting on Krypton.
Dude, me too. That was such
amazing.
A cool part.
I loved that part. That was great. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You said DC. Now what about Marvel?
Oh, dude, I don't know. I wouldn't know. I have no idea.
I'm gonna wait until I hear somebody see Venom.
No, I don't.
Nathan, I was just gonna say that.
I know you were. I cannot wait to see Carnage, man. They better make that movie. Oh, that's a great role. I think what's his face is gonna kill it. Anyway, okay, Andrew, did you answer the first one about heroes yet? I'm pretty sure you did. I hope I didn't skip you.
No, I said Scarlet Spider.
That's right, you did. My bad.
Jason Todd, yeah.
All right,
No,
Patrick,
okay.
let's start over. Patrick, villain, DC and Marvel.
For DC, I would say the Joker.
You want to be Joker?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for Marvel,
A little cliche. We're not going to knock you for it.
a little cliche.
Okay.
God, I would say Thanos.
Okay. All right.
Thanos is pretty badass, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Those are two heavy hitters. I like it. Okay, cool. I respect it.
Go big or go
Chat,
home, right?
please join us. Tell us who you guys would like to be. You know, it's not just all about us. We love you guys too. All right, Rob.
Bro, even as an anti-hero or villain, Eddie Brock, Venom all the way.
Okay.
Marvel.
Okay.
DC's tough. I'm having a hard time with that one. Sitting here thinking, and I'm like,
I could start quoting Big Bang Theory, and I think Rachel's gonna laugh about this. About the fact that Stan Lee's very, very basic with his names and picking like two the same first and last name started with the same letter. Peter Parker,
Yeah.
Bruce Banner. Anyway, I'm not gonna knock it. I thought that was a funny episode. Who else we have? You said yours. Chris said his. Andrew, you say yours for villains yet?
For villains, oh man, that's a tough one. I think for Marvel, I would go. Yeah, there's like so many choices because like if I'm the antagonist, I would love to be Doctor Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Or for DC, like I have a strong love for Gail Simone's Secret Six. I love the character Catman so much, but
Okay.
that's kind of an anti-hero kind of position. So I think I would go with. Oh man, there's so much. I would love to do. I think Two-Face would be really, really fun, and like that connection and that friendship between him and Bruce Wayne hasn't, I think, properly been on screen or hasn't given the weight it deserves.
I would say the same thing about Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, completely agree.
You know, Mr. Freeze went to toe, not just because he was a villain, because he was doing it for his wife. You know?
Mhm.
And like in the comics and the animated series, especially Batman and stuff like that too, I love the fact like he constantly keeps turning himself in. And at the one point he even kills himself to bring his wife back. Even though he always
To
wanted
me, that's what makes a great villain, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're more so a victim than anything. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. And it's not like he was ever fighting Batman out of animosity or something like that. It's just because he was trying to get to a spot that he didn't think anybody else understood.
Sure.
Yeah. And I love Mr. Freeze for that itself. Okay, so this is rough because I love most of the villains that I've seen on screen. Right? So it's hard for me to put myself on a pedestal even closer to those guys. So like say, yeah, I can do this better, you know? Because that's how my competitive nature is. I'm like, yeah, I see this, I can do this better. I've always wanted to be Deadpool, you know, but the fact that Ryan Reynolds actually got it after the atrocious way they treated him in Wolverine Origins, I have to tip my hat to him for pushing that for so long, like releasing that animated trailer that they had made, and he's the one that actually came out years later saying, yeah, I leaked it. It was me. I still have the suit.
I mean, shooting himself in the head for the Green Lantern script. Thank you.
God,
Yeah,
that was so funny.
The fact that he will acknowledge himself like that and laugh about it.
Yeah.
I'm on board. I'm on board.
Nobody's gonna mention the Hitler part. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh.
Maximum effort. We got this. Okay. I'm gonna think about this, but because I don't want to take up too much time left. I think we've gone over enough. What would you guys see me as a villain?
Reverse Flash.
Thank you. Oh, I love Eobard Thawne. I love that character so much. But I will say Ibarthon's great. But for DC, what I would love to see, I would like to do, Vandal Savage.
Oh.
Interesting.
I mean, I think Ra's al Ghul's interesting, but they're very similar to Vandal Savage. I just love Vandal Savage more because of like his persona. He's like if somebody took Darkseid, Lex Luthor, and Ra's al Ghul and put them all together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not knocking the character itself, but I would love to see Vandal Savage on screen. So I think I would have a lot of fun with that character from a DC standpoint. Marvel, I don't look like him, so I'm not going to say Namor, but because I would love to see Namor finally. But I've always wanted to play Victor Von Doom.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah.
Oh, I can totally see it.
Because I really hope the fact that it's not just because he has powers or a face mask. I want them to show that he actually has magic too. And he also is a misunderstood villain. He's still misunderstood. The reason why he does the thing that he does is because one, he's scarred. Two, it's for his country.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if anybody's read the comics, the one where it's Doom World, it's like when the Infinity Gauntlet, it's like right after Secret Wars, Captain America and Iron Man die fighting each other. Captain America comes back, being 50 years old, reinserts the serum into his bones, and goes after Tony Stark, who started the Illuminati with the Infinity Gauntlet and stuff like that too. The Crisis of the Earth's colliding and stuff like that. I love that comic. It's probably my favorite Marvel comic, to be honest. It's huge. It would cost you $300 to just buy it itself. It's that many comics put together. I spent the time at Geico reading those, like on breaks and lunches. But reading the way that Victor Von Doom goes around to save the universe is just crazy. I would love to see that portrayed.
Well, I think that's a big deal when you have a villain you can relate to. I know you and I, Nate, have talked about that. And Andrew, I don't want to speak for him, but he said I think he feels that Black Panther is one of the most influential MCU films out there because Killmonger is such a relatable character. A lot of people will say he's not the bad guy. You know, what they do with Black Panther.
And there's a huge hashtag falling for him to be the next Black Panther. But I want to see I want to see Shuri be the Black Panther. Honestly, I want to see his sister do it because she actually takes over the mantle of Queen or King of Wakanda.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
In the comics, yeah, after Black Panther steps down because he joins the Illuminati. The Illuminati, if those that don't know, is the smartest minds of the Marvel universe. It's Xavier, Beast. Not Beast Boy. That's Beast Boy would be fun too. Sorry, just remembered. But Beast, Namor, Black Panther, Iron Man, and I think I'm missing somebody. If anybody knows the Illuminati comics,
I don't. Andrew, do you know?
It's Doctor Strange, Iron Man.
Doctor Strange. I knew I was missing one. Yeah.
Professor X.
Mm-hmm.
I think T'Challa too.
It's the same thing that Tony Stark does when you say he's his worst enemy. He keeps this stuff and he uses the Mind Stone to wipe everybody else's minds except them, and they all know this crisis is happening. All the other Avengers are out in space fighting these guys that created the universe. I can't remember their names. Eric will probably have to help me. Geek explained if you know it. It's the Secret Wars comic, but they're all off fighting in space with people like Gladiator, Kang the Conqueror, and stuff like that, who's supposed to be the next Thanos bad boy in the next phase of Marvel. Because apparently, I don't know if anybody knew this, Thanos is coming back in the next phase. He's going to be joining the Avengers to fight Kang the Conqueror. It has been confirmed. Oh, Geek Explain's got it. Tony, read Namor, Strange, Black Bolt. That was it. Black Bolt. Yes, Black Bolt's awesome.
Yeah, that's Eric.
Yeah, the Inhumans.
I could see you rocking Black Bolt.
That would be an interesting, not just because of the character, but that'd be an interesting role because he can't talk.
Mm-hmm.
He can't say a word. He can't even whisper because if he does, like the whole West Coast would like get destroyed.
Yeah, if he sings, he's blowing up a planet.
Yeah. I thought the casting for the Inhumans show was good. The writing was atrocious. I thought it was good, but I watched the whole show. I love the guy that they picked for his brother, and he's in Game of Thrones. He plays Ramsay Bolton.
That was a Fox production, right?
I think so.
So that was so yeah. Disney's okay. So Disney's gobbled them up, and I keep getting the Immortals and the Eternals mixed up because I know the Eternals is the next film being released after Black Widow into the MCU. I think I'm right, but I'm not sure. So that casting is pretty diverse too. I don't know anything about the Eternals though, so I'm gonna have to lean on you guys for that one. But that's the next big one coming down, and it'll be interesting to see where Disney pumps millions and millions of dollars in these franchises. So it's like they're not going to let it fail. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out for them. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't have any more talking points. I think we did a really good job discussing the flaws, the pros and cons, the best parts of these things, and I really enjoyed this last part, just picking our characters and what we want to see play and stuff like that. That was really a lot of fun.
I'm gonna throw Rachel out there. I could totally see Rachel as either Wanda or Gamora.
Yeah, Gamora over Nebula. She likes Nebula.
I could see Nebula too. Yeah, I could see that.
We met her at Comic-Con a while back, actually.
I hate you.
Yeah, dude, her Scottish accent is amazing.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it was great. We also met the person that played May from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's another thing Marvel needs to do better. They need to do better. If they're going to do these live action shows, they need to start integrating them more into the shows, the movies.
True.
Well, this is the first time they've had the opportunity to do that.
What are you talking
about?
Huh?
Well, no, I'm talking about they put a lot of money into them now, especially with Disney Plus. I mean, they now have an outlet directly, like basically a pipeline to it, right? And now they're dealing with IPs that are kind of, secondary characters from the Avengers. They've got Falcon and Winter Soldier. I mean, Wanda was probably a primary. You could say she's a primary.
Well, the shows on Netflix, like Daredevil, those were running linear with the movies. They even mentioned it as well.
But those weren't run by Disney and MCU. That's the big deal. Netflix owned those properties. That's because when they lost them, like they lost Punisher, Daredevil, and Jessica Jones. They lost Iron Fist, and there's another one too. I can't think of it.
Luke Cage.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Luke Cage.
So they lost those. Now Fox or Disney owns them, so they can. That's why they're talking about getting a new actor for Daredevil, getting a new actor for Punisher. So now they can actually accurately put the budget and the story behind that. So it will be different. Netflix has had those characters from that property. That's time's up, motherfucker. You're going back to Disney now, so it's like we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, I want to because I loved Fisk. Fisk was amazing.
That's why I didn't
Vincent D'Onofrio. So good.
Yeah, he was so good in that show.
Am I muted? What's going on?
I can hear you. Chris. Chris, I can hear you.
I can't hear anybody.
I can hear you, Chris.
I can hear you, Chris.
Oh.
That's I can hear you, buddy. You're still coming through.
Oh, thank God. I'm like, did my whole point fall on deaf ears?
No, it did. We got it all. We got it all, buddy. But I think wow, this is a long podcast, but I am so happy everybody was able to join up. We originally were gonna have one of you guys just chatting at a time, but this actually worked out really, really well. I'm happy you guys got it. Before I do our closer, do you guys have any other points? Any other topics you wanted to hash out before we end?
I don't, but I do have a question for you if you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So, due to the engagement in your chat, and we have 14 people watching right now, well, 13 not counting me.
Awesome.
I would like to find out if there's any Xbox fans, and you pick a challenge question, and we're going to give away 3 months of Xbox Live Ultimate with Game Pass.
Nice.
That would be awesome. Okay.
That's awesome, man.
Patrick, thank you so much. Dark Fox coming in clutch. Look at that.
Thank you.
We're doing a giveaway in chat. All right. Do you want a few seconds to do a social media blast for that, or you want to just give it up to the people that have been supporting us in the chat right now?
It's your channel, brother. Whatever you want to do.
Okay, Chris. What do we want as co-host with me, and I'm co-host with you for ReelChat? What question do we want to put into chat? And please, Andrew, Rob, please jump into the chat if you guys haven't been, because there's a lot of questions in there too. I want you guys to start doing that. What question do we want to give chat right now for this giveaway that Patrick is so generous enough to do?
That is an awesome giveaway too, Patrick. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, of course.
Let's do, since we're on the subject of it, nothing we can Google, right? So let's not give most earned. Let's not do that.
Ooh, I have it. Chris, I'm going to text it to you.
Go for it. Put it in there.
I'm going to text it to you, and let me tell you what you think.
Okay. Everybody, hold on.
All right, hold on, chat. Hold on. Let's get some exclamation marks in chat right now. If you guys are down for this, this is gonna be fun.
I'm gonna put an exclamation point in there.
I'm gonna do it.
I prefer exclamation points. That's my favorite method of punctuation, to be honest with you. Not the question mark exclamation.
Is it because you yell constantly, or
That's
is it
exactly why. That's it. And Jessica tells me all the time, "Why are you yelling?" Yes. Okay. Cool. I like that.
Do you like that question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that one.
Turn up your volume, guys. If you guys aren't hearing, I'm not going to put it in chat. I'm going to say it right here on the podcast. All right. This is a two-part answer because we're doing Marvel and DC. It's not fair if we do DC and Marvel. Okay. When was the first Marvel and when was the first DC comic released? Go.
That's years, right? That's
in year. Not month, just year. Go.
We're excluded because.
Yep. I'm not involved. I'm not involved. And get out of here.
Yeah. Got no Xbox.
All right, first one. You have to answer them together. Don't do them separate. First DC and first Marvel comic.
I'm nervous for people. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm nervous for people. It's like,
Same.
I don't want to get DMCA'd, so I'm gonna just do this tone right now.
Hey, no Google people.
yeah.
Geek Explain podcast is literally just wait. There it is. There it is.
Yep. Not under the Marvel name. Thank you for saying that, because that was that was not going to be the Marvel one. That was it. Yep. Wow.
All right.
October 1939. And here is a trivia question. What is DC actually the name for? What is it actually called? Instead, because Marvel's actual full name, it's not just DC Comics. It just doesn't mean anything. It's not; those aren't just two letters. What does DC actually stand for? The 30s, I knew that at least. Some year and some time. That's all I got. Geek Explain, of course. Geek Explain would say it, man. I made it too easy for him. Shoot.
So does that mean he wins? Is that it?
Yep.
Right.
Patrick, do you think that's winning? That's a winning answer?
It was a little bit of a delay. Let's do one more because I just want to make sure nobody's hitting up Google.
Okay,
one more.
I'm trying to think of something that. Okay, Chris, what do you have a question?
Disrespectful to Geek Explain, but
yeah. Do you have Do you have a question?
Geek Explain is like Google. We're gonna have a hard time stumping this dude. We're gonna have to like pick something. You know what? I got one. No, I don't have one. Damn.
Okay, I did throw out a question. So if somebody answers me, what does DC actually stand for?
Oh, there you go. What does DC actually stand for? I don't know. That's kind of in Geek Explain's wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's pretty simple if you guys.
I don't know what it stands for, so I don't know.
I do.
All right.
Detective Comics.
Boy, Eric.
Damn it, man. Okay, so this is not.
He got it.
Yep, he got it. All right. I mean, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
So who has his contact information? I don't really want to put that in the chat.
Chris, put it in the Discord. Chris, put it in the
Okay.
Discord with us right there.
Okay, I'll do it right now.
Oh, yep. DC, actually, it's not DC Comics. It's DC Detective Comics. Is literally what it says. It's because that
Detective
would be
Comics.
Yeah, Detective Comics. A little. That's one of my favorite like pet peeves is when like DC Comics. I'm like, oh man. Whew. That was
good,
fun.
man. Yeah, good. Everybody brought it today. That was awesome. I really enjoyed today's.
I really did. Rob, you still with us? Or did we lose him?
It says email is.
I know. I'm popping it up right now.
Oh, okay.
That's my way of.
Well done, guys. Well done. Well done, Chris. Do you want to close us out? What's our next talking point that we're gonna be going over?
Well, we had talked about this before, and I think this is a good crowd to announce that that we're going to dive into. So we really kind of focused on the main IPs for the films, right? For the movies, and you had mentioned that there's such a rich history going into the cartoons and actually comics themselves. So maybe next week we kind of get into that part of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like a wallflower, but I will be encouraging, and I'm going to be clapping. And so,
let's do this. Let's leave it up to chat. Let's throw out two topics because we have a ways out to that movie that we're going to talk about. I think we have another 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? All right, chat. This is what we're thinking. we're going to start doing a tiered list for people that love binging, especially during this hopefully the end of this pandemic. We want to do video games, why they are not good, being traversed over to movies.
Yeah. So
Okay.
why games so what games why that for
No,
whatever
Rob,
reason
can't
they
hear
haven't
you.
translated over from video games. Like obviously there's a litany of examples here, and we want to figure out maybe, is film the best medium? Maybe Netflix and miniseries, because The Witcher seemed to be okay. Like what's the best, first of all, why
Medium.
they haven't done well?
Why haven't
and
they done well? And what's the next medium for them? Because we have Mortal Kombat coming out on HBO Max
Oh my
this
gosh,
month.
I'm so excited.
I know. So that's why we're leading up to the fact that we're going to do this the day after it releases. So definitely watch that movie first, because what we do, we want to leave guys some time, not too much time, but some time for you guys to watch it, because we're streaming, we're all home, we can watch this stuff, right? After
And
that,
it's free.
and it's free. So, and then after that, we're going to start doing a tiered list on Chris and my favorite shows to watch of certain topics or tones. First up on the list, conspiracy theorist shows, conspiracy processing shows, apocalyptic shows, and then also sci-fi. We're each going to pick one, and we're going to explain why we like them and see what the chat says. I already have my list. We're going to get that through. So
And before we let everybody go, Geek Explained, check your email. I did send that. It's going to be under Xbox Game Pass Ultimate Giveaway, and just give confirmation that you were able to redeem that. If not, I can generate another one.
Patrick, that was so nice of you, bro.
Yeah, Patrick. Oh, that's
Seriously,
awesome, man.
dude.
Thank
So
you so
cool.
much, man.
That
That's
is
awesome.
Yeah, no
so
worries, guys.
amazing. That is so amazing, bro. And by the way, side note, Patrick, that was a lot of fun today, hanging out, grinding.
Right?
That was a lot of fun. But chat, thank you so much for joining Chris and I here at ReelChat. We want to give a round of applause in the chat as well too to our guests. We
Thank
have
you, guys.
Rob, who I
Yes.
think accidentally logged out. I don't know how. Rob, we got Andrew, we got Patrick, who just was amazing with that giveaway as well. Geek Explain says received. Thanks so much, man. All right.
Awesome.
Of course, Geek Explained.
Thank you guys for joining us here on ReelChat. This video is going to be on YouTube. Please like, share, follow. That helps us out with the analytics. If you were a part of the chat today, please look that up on YouTube as well too under NAT3MILL until we start getting our own channel as well too, which is in the books as well. Please share this video on YouTube. Tell your friends to join us next week. We want more opinions, just like you guys have done in the chat. Can't thank you enough for doing that. Chris, you have anything to say to the folks?
It was so much fun, guys. I was telling Nate as we were going, this has probably been the best one we've had so far. So thank you guys for so much.
And we were worried that we weren't going to have a lot of people involved.
I know, man. When we got on, we're like, oh, it's just me and you. Chirp, crickets. But it picked up on the
It
Sunday
blew
night.
up.
Thank you so much. It was awesome. It was so much fun talking to everybody, getting opinions. And you guys are the reason that was so much fun today. So thank you.
Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Please comment what you guys want to see us talk about later and soon coming up. Thank you so much. And if there's a topic or show or movie that we don't know about that you guys like, please tell us about it. We'd love to look into it. We're always looking for content. Thanks so much, guys, for joining us on Twitch, on YouTube. Appreciate you guys. This is NAT3MILL and
Chris Carter.
signing off today, guys. Thanks so much.
Have a good night, guys.
Later, guys.
Night, guys.
Yeah.